Yeah, that's right. I'm subjecting you guys to Blair White again. Sorry, it is what it is. It's Pride Month. We're 1 week in to Pride Month of 2026. And Blair White, the right's pick-me trans woman, who spent years calling for anti-trans right-wing policies in Texas, and then moved out of Texas the second those policies got put into place, because her entire career is a grift. She advocates for policies that hurt trans people, but the second she has to live under them, she moves to California. LA to be specific. It doesn't get any more blatant than that as far as like the pick-me grift goes. Also, she has definitely fucked Alex Jones. So, to celebrate Pride Month, we're going to rip apart Blair White's attacks on Pride Month. Because of course, you can't be a pick-me without being anti-Pride Month. So let's watch, shall we?
Pride from the Teletubbies.
Okay.
There is a Washington State Youth Pride Coalition, specifically for kids, the Sesame Street Twitter account.
I am an activist. I am a substitute teacher.
Of course you are. Drag queen twerking for young children at a family-friendly all-ages Pride Festival in
That's not twerking.
Connecticut today. I'm sorry, this just looks ghetto more than anything. Where's the budget? What I'm noticing this year is it's a lot of kids stuff. I really think a lot of adults are done with Pride, but they're still able to like indoctrinate kids with this.
Adults are done with Pride. Now they're just... So I'm assuming this is Blair White. She's like gotten the orders that the move is going to be to start like... I don't know if you saw this, but Elon Musk tweeted the other night, any doctor who, and I quote, mutilates children should be put to death, with a picture of a noose. I'm not joking. Like, last night, Elon Musk was posting images of a noose and saying that any doctors who do gender-affirming care on kids, but, you know, that they don't mean just on kids, should be put to death. So, I'm guessing that this is Blair White, like, getting her orders to start pushing the idea that, like, the pride community, the gay community, is, like, hardcore going after kids now. Like it's worse now than ever. Because I'm guessing we're kind of leading up to some kind of big legal crackdown on trans people, under the basis that all trans people are a threat to children. That's my guess. Because, we know that Blair White and all the ilk of the right-wing pundits are all getting their marching orders. They're getting, like, marching orders sent to them, whether it be from Russia or from, like, Steve Bannon or from Epstein's, like, right-wing Gamergate organization. They're all getting their marching orders. They're all being primed to start pushing a specific idea in preparation for a move that the Trump admin is likely to make. That would be my guess.
Pride Month is basically 9/11 every year for gay and trans people at this point. It's crazy how it's this month that was created to celebrate the LGBT community, that group of people. And it's actually, because it's just so cringe and so degenerate at this point, become a net negative for gay and trans people, the LGBT community, whatever the acronym is now, right? It's become something that actually hurts them in terms of their PR, right? You know how a candle like flickers the most when it's about to burn out? That's kind of what's happening here. Like, it's kind of extra.
Guys, the gay movement's dying. It's finally dying, guys. We're winning. Ignore that I'm trans. We're winning. The gay movement's dying.
Extra gross and like a weird way. Let's look at some of the stuff. Happy Pride from the Teletubbies. Because that's normal. That's okay.
Yeah, it's like one of the most normal things out there. You know the Teletubbies are surrounded by rainbows all the fucking time, right?
Isn't Teletubbies not even on the air? But they're crafting pride messages? Like, that is...
Is it actually? That shit was on when I was a toddler. So, like, is it still going? If so, how?
Okay. Interestingly, I feel like adults are kind of like done with Pride, but they're just pumping out all this kids stuff. You have the Sesame Street Twitter account. The Sesame Street.
Blair, do you think I'm retarded? Your audience must be, and you must know it, because you've complained about all of these children's pride things for every year. Are we acting like this is just now happening for the first time? Like, why are you talking about this like this is new? You knew that, like, all of the big things we're going to be putting out pride posts. They do this every year. You've complained about it every year. You know, why are you acting like this year all of a sudden it's new?
Kids television show putting out a pride message. Happy Pride Month from Sesame Street. Join us in celebrating and uplifting the LGBT, I'm not even reading that, members of our community. Unnecessary is an understatement. Nefarious is probably more like, at this point I'm wondering if...
Nefarious. Guys, it is nefarious gay agenda against kids. Mind you, Blair White has said that she knew that she was a woman since she was a toddler. Like, I think she said, like, she was literally like in daycare at the sandbox thinking to herself that like she knew she was a girl. She is told that story and hilariously refuses to accept that any other trans person in existence could have the same experience that she did.
Corporations are actually the most homophobic and transphobic people of all. I'm actually wondering if corporations hate gay people so much.
True! My favorite homophobic corporation. Isn't that literally the Grindr logo? Of course. Wait, are we really? Okay, hold on. Of all the companies, that's Grindr logos. That's the Grindr logo, right? This is Grindr? I'm pretty certain this is Grindr. So why would them doing a rainbow pride thing not... Of all the fucking apps to do a pride month celebration, guys, I mean, the gay dating app makes sense. Are we really gonna claim that the... Okay.
And transphobic people of all.
Kill
I'm
me.
actually wondering if corporations hate gay people so much that...
Guys, I need... Please, Netanyahu. Netanyahu, just kill me. Poison me.
They are doing everything they can to associate it with kids. Like, what I'm noticing this year is it's a lot of kids stuff. I really think a lot of adults are done with pride, but they're still able to like indoctrinate kids with this because they're fresh and green on the earth and they don't know what's going on, obviously, which is so sick. The number one agenda.
Yeah, kids are so retarded. Yeah, they just don't know anything. It's true. The idea of having a crush or knowing what gender you are, completely foreign to children. And God forbid a child has a crush, say on a boy has a crush on another boy, God forbid they know what that is and aren't just confused about it.
That the LGBT community needs to have right now is separating itself and being...
God forbid some 5-year-old, like Blair White said she was, realizes that they are trans and wants to learn about it, like Blair did. God forbid any future trans people have it any easier than Blair White did.
These like groomer, messing with the kids allegations. Like that is the main allegation that if there is any hope for the PR of this group of people, that needs to be...
Notice how they've been complaining about this for like 6 or 7 years now? Check the date, by the way. Notice how they've been complaining about this for 6 or 7 years now? Well, more than that. And yet, meanwhile, no big rash of child predation going down. Like, keep in mind, by the way, that like, let's say an 8 to 10-year-old was doing like Pride Story Hour, whatever, when they were 10, 6 years ago, when this was like a really big thing. They would be 16 now. Where is this rash of 15, 16, 17-year-olds saying that 6 or 7 years ago, they were like groomed at a drag queen story hour by a drag queen? Where are all the stories of this happening anytime that it's been going on for all these years? Where any of the stories of children going back a decade ago, that went to these drag queen story hours, turning like 20 and deciding to come forward about it? Where is that? Where is it? It's not happening because these drag queen story hours and these pride events, if kids are there, they're there with their parents and they're probably being monitored and they're probably not being abused unless they're from an abusive household. The fact is that this entire like trans people are a threat to kids thing, it's entirely meant to get people on board with violence against trans people. It's the only reason you do that. Like, when you try to compare any group of people or associate any group of people with pedophilia, because either you believe or you want people to believe that violence is justified against them.
The thing that is, exercised as a demon would be. Unfortunately, these corporations, I guess, hate gay people more than anybody because I'm only seeing like kid stuff being released for Pride. We have Peppa Pig.
The first things I saw related to Pride were when every single sports team changed their logo to a Pride logo. So maybe it's listen, Blair, what about you is feeding... Why do you have Happy Pride Peppa Pig on your timeline? Meanwhile, I have Happy Pride NHL on my timeline. Like, maybe you're just not seeing the shit I'm seeing, but apparently the MLB, NHL, they're all on board. The NFL, they're on board with Pride Month. They changed their logos to rainbows.
Which is a little kid show. Put out Happy Pride Month to all our friends. We're celebrating the joy of being yourself and the many wonderful families and friendships that make our world special. Like, I haven't even seen the RuPaul's Drag Race Twitter, if that's a thing, post anything about Pride. I'm seeing like kids shows, like shows on Nickelodeon posting about it. And we know about Nickelodeon, so they should be trying to beat those allegations too, if you think about it. The city of Boston, which, no offense to anybody in Boston, it is one of my least favorite cities. It does have a tacky white lib vibe, and as evidenced by...
That's true. Most of the first cities of the United States, where the original colonies were, where our founding fathers walked the very streets, developed their ideas, had the Great Enlightenment ideas that led to the development of our democracy. Cities like Philadelphia, Boston, and New York. Isn't it interesting how much conservatives hate these cities? These cities that have, since America's inception, been birthplaces of the thought process that American democracy is based on? That's kind of crazy, huh? That's kind of crazy. It's almost like Boston, New York, and Philadelphia still represent what they always have, which is fundamental American values and the values of the founding fathers. Weird how you hate them so much.
They're hosting 19 drag queen kids storytime events in the month of June. 19 of them.
The City Library is also planning 19 drag queen story hours next month, with most events geared towards kids 5 and under. One of the scheduled performers described what happens at these events a few years ago.
Right. I mean, the power of drag is that you can be anything you want to be.
Indoctrination. I like that we're literally just showing a Fox News clip. Like Blair White used to claim to be like an apolitical centrist, by the way. I hope you guys know that. Like back when that was the meta for conservative pundits, she claimed she wasn't right-wing. Like she would make video responses to YouTubers claiming that she was right-wing, and the whole point of the video was, I'm not right-wing, guys. I'm not right-wing, guys. Oh my god. Do you remember when she faked her political compass test results?
You can express yourself. There's drag performers that look all kinds of different crazy fun ways, and we think in my community that that's a great thing to show kids.
And for anybody that wants to give them the benefit of the doubt that these are like somehow appropriate if you're that demented, if you look at the actual drag queen...
I'm gonna guess these screenshots are not from the event that they're doing for kids. That's what I'm going to guess.
They're holding the events. Here's one of them making fun of Jesus dying on the cross. Notice how they never make fun of Buddha. Notice how they never make fun of Muhammad. Notice how they never make fun of whatever the Jewish God is. Like, they never make fun of that, right? Why is that? We know why. You know, I would think that
Why? Is it because Christianity is the most prominent religion in this country and has the most stranglehold over our government? And is the most authoritarian on Americans? Like, you can, like, cry and whine about Sharia law coming to America, but there is no Sharia law in America. There are Christian leaders in America with power in government who insist that everyone, regardless of their religion, should have to live under Christian law, though. Whatever the Jewish God is. Yeah, whatever the Jewish God is. True.
Performer that is hired to do a bunch of events with kids would also not be doing adult events, but here you have pictures of, like, a drag strip show type thing, very, very like sexual pictures, like just a total nefarious pick, right? A total demonic pick as in like the choice for this person to do this. It's like, for anyone doubting this kind of stuff is intentional, and then there is not some really dark forces, you know, with those puppet strings making this a thing. I don't know how you could be so dense to think that this isn't 100% coordinated and that there are deeply dark, insidious...
You know, maybe I'd take you seriously a little bit, Blair White, if you weren't one of the most hypocritical lying fucks on the entire internet. Like, bitch, I have caught you red-handed clipping articles a sentence before it debunks your point to show on screen. Who remembers that? Who remembers when she was trying to claim that insane trans people were claiming they could get periods and cervical cancer? And she showed this article about trans women talking about getting cervical pap smears to check and see if they had cervical cancer. And she goes in this long screed about how ridiculous that is. And so she brings up, let me see if I can find it. I think this is the page. Oh, they changed the layout. They changed the layout after Blair White's video. So to give you guys an idea, in the original version of this, it started by saying, if you're a trans woman, you may not have given much thought to the idea of getting regular pap smears or pap checks or whatever they're called, because, you know, and that would make sense. And she only showed that part of it as if to imply that the Canadian Cancer Society agreed with her that it was ridiculous for trans women to think they could get cervical cancer. So we went to this page and we read the very next sentence after where she cut it off. And what it said was more or less what the page entirely says now, because obviously they found out that Blair White had weaponized their page to push something opposite of what the page says. So they reworded it, but damage was already done. As a trans woman or non-binary person assigned male at birth, what do I need to know about other types of cancer screening? Some trans women and non-binary people choose to have surgery, such as vaginoplasty, as part of their gender-affirming care. During a vaginoplasty, tissue from their person create vagina. Trans women and non-binary people assigned male at birth are not at risk of cervical cancer after having a vaginoplasty and do not need cervical screening. There is some limited evidence that other types of cancers can develop in the tissues used to create the vagina, but more research is needed. The type of cancer would depend on the tissue used in the procedure. Researchers are still trying to determine the risk of cancer and the best way to screen for cancer after having a vaginoplasty. Talk to your healthcare provider about what screening approach is right for you. A speculum exam or visual exam may be used to look for changes that may lead to cancer. They tell you to speak to your doctor and to make sure you're not developing cancers in your neo-vagina if you get that surgery, and Blaire White cuts it off. So it just reads, you don't need to worry about that. You don't need to worry about that. Which I would argue is spreading some pretty severe medical misinfo on her part. And that is not even close to the biggest lie that she has told. Remember when Janae Marie Kroc, the trans bodybuilder, went viral? And in her post, coming out as trans, she talked about how she is only going to lift against men because she grew up and went through most of her career identifying as a man, and it is her decision. She chooses to continue lifting against men because it's what she wants to do, and she emphasizes that in her post. Blaire White then makes a thrown together, rushed out video claiming, guys, look at this ugly, old, male, transgender bodybuilder. I bet he wants to lift against women. He's probably only doing this just to lift against women. Meanwhile, the post that she's showing on screen completely debunks this. Blaire had to take down the video and issue a tearful apology, one of many. I should make a compilation of Blaire White's crying apologies. After every time where she's been called out on her shit and had to walk it back in the past, I should put together a compilation video of Blaire White's crying apology videos promising not to do this, what you're seeing her do now, ever again. There's a lot of them. She has cried on camera with makeup running down her face like Trisha Paytas, apologizing for this behavior to her old audience, back when she was, like, still trying to keep the whole, like, I'm just a reasonable trans person thing going. Blaire's not a Christian. She wears crosses, so she's at least LARPing it. She's not wearing one here, but she usually is wearing a cross.
Groups that actually do promote this sort of stuff towards kids intentionally. A drag queen twerking for young children at a family-friendly all-ages pride festival in Connecticut today. I'm sorry, this just looks ghetto more than anything.
That's not
Where's
twerking.
The budget? Y'all are like in an open field? Okay, so this one was actually funny to me. This is one of the front runners for the governor in California.
I'm Tom Steyer, and I'm about to ride the D.
Hey, yo.
And I'm about to ride the D.
This
D
man
train.
is straight, supposedly. I don't know what's going on with him, but I actually do have hope for California recently. It's looking like California maybe wants to try something other than communism. You know what I mean?
I don't know if you know this, but there's like this right-wing idea that California is abandoning wokeness. Their claim around this is not very well founded, but it's part of this like woke is dying, we're killing off woke is finally over mindset that they're trying to push. And so they're trying to claim that woke is so dead that California is going to go red. And of course, these are people who believe that California is communist. Guys, if you don't want to kill all Jewish and trans people, you're a communist. And if you're a communist, Trump wants to kill you. That's what Republicans want to do. They've always been Nazis. Like, every Republican has always been at least sympathetic to Nazis. Like, make no mistake, even the most moderate Republican would prefer to ally with a Nazi, an open Nazi, than with a communist. Don't ever forget, the American working class would rather vote for Hitler than for any socialist, okay? We are far from class consciousness in this country. The working class are mini Hitlers.
Me and Spencer Pratt just moved on to the next round.
The last thing you want right now is for the working class to have power, let me tell you. Mini Hitlers.
In the election, and I feel like things are looking up. I don't know if he's going to win the governor race. I'm more of a Steve Hilton person, but according to our besties at CalShe, this guy riding the D, Tom Steyer, only has a 13% chance of winning and taking it. They have Steve Hilton at around 10% and Xavier Becerra, who I don't want to win, unfortunately, at 77%. Anyway.
Don't worry, woke is dead though, right? So he can't win, right? California's going to go red, right?
CalShe is the first CFTC regulated exchange dedicated.
They're all oh my god, dude. This is like the second Chud video we've covered in 2 streams now where they're sponsored by gambling websites. I can't believe it. I need you guys to know that the number one thing I get hate for in 2026, because no one can actually argue against any of my political claims because they are ironclad. My political arguments, my evidence, my data, ironclad. No one makes responses to my claims or my statements or anything. It'd be a fruitless effort. So instead, I get a lot of like personal attacks. And the primary personal attack I get is for not making a lot of money from YouTube. Literally, that's like the opposite of Hassan. Like, everyone attacks me for being broke, right? That's literally the number one thing I get attacked for. Google Xanderhall, and every hate video is like preying on me to go homeless. You can just go look. And yet, meanwhile, on the right, they are shilling gambling apps to their audiences with no pushback. Like, it is a sin to be broke if you're a progressive creator, but it's all good if you push gambling on your audience if you're a right-wing creator. Unbelievable, the standard, like the difference in standards that we're held to
the prediction of the outcome of future events. We love Kalshi on this channel. If you guys want to go check them out, definitely go to the link in my description. And when you sign up, use code Blair to get $20 free when you trade $20. Go check them out. And thank you so much to Kalshi for sponsoring this episode of the Blair White Project podcast. And now on to the rest of the podcast. Here is a Washington State Youth Pride Coalition festival specifically for kids, for the youth, drag queen for an all ages show. Is it that Pride is just such a business now? It's such a capitalist thing that like there's not enough.
You just said that maybe she's a sloppulist. That's what it is. It's sloppulism. That's what we're seeing right now. Like the instant switch up between like, oh, I want to criticize this from a right-wing angle. Okay, maybe California will finally stop being communist. And then here we've got her criticizing capitalism when it suits her. It's like, bitch, what side are you on? She's just full-scale sloppulist, I'm guessing. That's really what we're dealing with right now. Like the shoe-on-head brand of populism that's like neither left nor right. It's just whatever it needs to be on any given issue to get the most claps from the dumbest people. That's what's taken over the left and the right now. Just populist brain rot.
Adults really partaking in it, and so it has to be all about kids, because if that's the case,
this is the problem, right? Like if you want class consciousness, this is the kind of class consciousness you're going to get. People blaming capitalism for gay pride. Like that, this is the kind of, when you make the working class of America class consciousness, they're not going to say, oh, it's the capitalist ruling class keeping us down. They're going to say, oh, it's the Jewish capitalist ruling class keeping us down. It's the capitalist ruling class pushing gay and trans stuff on us. Like, that's what they're going to pull from it. Blair and Shu used to be friends? Yeah, I think they probably still, like, definitely are still behind the scenes, yeah. They've definitely rebuilt the friendship by now. When Shu was pretending to be left-wing, she had, like, burnt the bridge. But I'm sure she's rebuilt it by now because she was fully, like, embraced being right-wing.
That's pretty scary. All the LGBT community has to do for a 50% increase in their PR is just go one Pride month without doing anything involving kids. Just one. And I guarantee you, here's the thing. Everyone acts like we live in such a hateful, divisive culture. People do love to forgive. Forgiveness feels good. I feel like the general public would actually, if y'all just give them one Pride month where y'all are not doing the most, I feel like you'll be forgiven. People will forget, the stuff.
Keyword forgotten, actually, is what she means. You'll be forgotten. And that's what the right really wants. The right wants to take away the voice of the trans and gay community, because with a voice, you can call for acceptance, for rights, for equality. If you give up your voice, you lose all that power, all that work that you put in. Blair is arguing that trans people should give up on all of their work and just be quiet.
People don't want to hate y'all. People don't like having hate in their heart. People don't like feeling that, actually. And it does make it inconvenient to live in modern life to have resentments towards this group of people, because we all have to work with each other. We all have to collaborate. We all have to be in industry together, people in our families that are gay. So all I'm saying is just don't give people ammunition, and it could be that simple. It could be that simple. But we live with this mythos that, like, when a group has...
I can't really take that seriously from you, Blair, when you have manufactured ammunition out of nothing to use against the trans community. The fact is, you guys will just make things up. You're already doing it. There have been no allegations of anything untoward happening at these events. Like at the end of the day, you want to, like, just point and say this is weird? Sure, I think it's weird. I'm not like, I wouldn't exactly take my kid to a pride, like drag show, because I don't necessarily want to go to a drag show, right? It's a little odd, but there's no predatory actions happening here. No kids are getting molested, right? Like parents seem to be there, teachers and stuff seem to be there. Listen, if anything bad happens, then pursue it with the full extent of the law. But the idea that gay and unusual equals danger to children is what they're trying to enforce here. Let's make no mistake, okay? Their goal, but the fact is that conservatives, when they see a gay person, they see two men kissing, for instance. Conservatives, when their brains are scanned, their brains have the same light up reaction to seeing vomit or shit or a bug or something like, or a spider or a roach, right? Like when a lot of people see like two guys kissing, a trans person, a gay person, the areas of their brain that light up are the same areas that light up when you see something scary or gross. A lot of people have a natural gross out reaction to gay or trans people. That's just their immediate instinctual gut reaction. That is how they react. When they see a video like this, instinctual gut reaction of disgust. It's like what parts of their brain literally light up the second they see this. Involuntarily, their brains, those parts of their brains just activate and start pumping off hormones and electrical signals, and they have the reaction that dictates. Her goal is to cement that emotional reaction into something deeper. Just because a lot of people are going to have that emotional reaction doesn't mean you can't have a conversation with them and make them realize, well, wait a second, this actually isn't that bad. Sure, it's a bit weird, but like, there's no kids being hurt here. There's teachers, there's parents, like, it's probably fine. But if you instead have someone like Blair who's like, look at the way they're targeting kids, isn't this dangerous for kids, and tries to like validate that immediate gut reaction, it becomes a solidly held position and belief, a stereotype about the entire group. And if you can stereotype all trans and gay people as pedophiles, that's how you get the majority of Americans to vote on the kill all gay and trans people bill. That's how you do it. That's their goal. There's no other reason to convince America that all trans and gay people are pedophiles than unless your goal is to convince Americans to kill them all. That's the end game. That's always been their end game, is to convince America that you should all be killed.
As backlash against it, whether it's a race or religion or, gays or whatever, there's this weird idea that it's never actually their fault, that all hate is completely unjustified, that all resentment towards groups is completely unjustified, that it has nothing to do with what that group's actually doing. And that's just so ignorant, and that's just so like nonsensical. It's also a time for celebrities to virtue signal how much they love gay people, which I actually don't blame Jennifer Lopez for this, because honestly, if you're a female singer, you have to court the gays. You do have to, but it's still annoying.
Hi, beautiful people. It's Jennifer Lopez, star of Office Romance, and I am here to wish you a very happy Pride Month. Let's be honest, you deserve all 12 months of the year, so make sure this one is extra special.
Notice how the first thing she said was the name of her show she's promoting. But people will act like...
You literally took a gambling sponsorship. You're a grifter. Oh my God, I'm down. Nah, okay. All right, no, I'm rage quitting. I'm rage quitting out of that video. I can't. Oh God. And you can see what like the her goal is, right? Here's the top comment on her video. Letting children know who they can be, who they want to be, and still receive love does not need to be so sexual. You can tell this person is probably like pretty pro-trans and probably thinks that because Blaire White's just this like reasonable like trans voice on the internet. She's the largest trans creator on the internet, so it makes sense that you would look at her and assume she's kind of the voice of the trans community right now. So you've got like pretty pro-trans people in the comments being like, I agree with this, I just don't think it should be so sexual. Meanwhile, it's like, I wouldn't even say anything, like would you say that like K-pop Demon Hunters is sexual because you've got like K-pop stars dancing and they're meant to be like, they're in their like 20s and they're cute? Is that sexualized now? Like, cause young girls love K-pop Demon Hunters. Are they sexualized in that movie? Because they wear like K-pop outfits? No, it's not inappropriate for kids to watch K-pop Demon Hunters, even though it's about like K-pop dancers wearing very similar clothing and doing very similar dance moves. But when it's trans people or drag queens or something, all of a sudden pretty much the exact same thing is demonized. And the reason why is, 20-something cis Korean singer dancers are seen as not weird or not odd or gross out to the average person. No one has like a gut negative reaction to that, but they do to gay and trans people. So take the exact same thing and make the being gay or trans part of it somehow a big deal breaker for people, and there you go. You can convince people that something strange and unusual is going on when there really isn't. Pretty fucking normal.